I'm Sherman DeSelle, and this is Fox 26 Crime Files. In just a 10-day period, 2 Houston women are followed from banks to become jugging victims. Our Randy Wallace has this only on Fox Report.
Somebody followed me that far, then no telling what else would have happened to me.
On May 18th, Erica LeGrand Williams says she withdrew $2,800 to pay bills. She was at Bank of America on Mason Road in Cinco Ranch. Next, she drove to an urgent care at 1960 and Jones Road to pick up a wheelchair for her work.
No more than 18 seconds, somebody bust the windows out and they looking for my purse.
Williams says sheriff's deputies told her she was likely followed from the bank. She says losing almost $3,000 has been devastating.
I just want to warn everybody just to be careful out there because there's people, it's always going to be somebody watching.
I've seen a steady decline in this area.
Dr. Shawan Dorsey has lived on the southwest side for 25 years. On May 27th, she says she withdrew $250 from this Chase Bank at West Belfort and Fondren.
And I put it in the bag, the Hobby Lobby bag. Now my windows are tinted. So I put it in there and I said, I need some gas. I got inside, meow, 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 meow. Well, I thought that was an ambulance or something passing by, and it was a lady that ran to the door and said, ma'am, somebody just bust your windows out.
We've got tips on how you can stay safe on our website. Randy Wallace, Fox 26 News.
Several bicyclists viciously attacked. This is happening in the 3rd Ward along the Columbia Tap Bike Trail. Fox 26's Dominique Keith telling us what police are now doing to make sure that you can ride safe.
This 57-year-old has bicycled on the Columbia Tap Trail for years, but never has his bike ride ended like this, with 4 broken ribs and fighting for his life in ICU after he was tackled from his bike, pistol whipped in the head so hard it broke his bicycle helmet, and he was robbed of his wallet and phone. A similar attack happened to this bicyclist.
I thought it was just slowing down for them to cross, and then I was hit in the head with a shovel. And then when I was laying down, they hit me again. And then they took my bike.
You were hit so hard in the head, you were knocked to the ground, and then you passed out?
Yes.
Neither victim wants to be identified. Houston police investigators say a group of 4 to 6 young men, maybe teens, are attacking bicyclists along the Columbia Tap Trail.
And if we can get them identified and charged, and then of course, then maybe that will bring some peace back to this trail.
5 men have been violently assaulted in just 2 weeks here. The last 2 are the most severely injured. This one attacked Saturday is still in the hospital. The cyclist hit on Memorial Day was shot in the leg and survived. HPD is stepping up patrols.
We're going to have marked patrol cars, officers in uniform, some officers on foot. We have officers on bike.
We will not rest until we stop them, because human life is very important. Not just the victims, but theirs as well. And we want them to change the course of their lives.
Undercover Houston police officers and officers on ATVs are also now out in the area. 2 of those attacks on the bicyclists have happened in broad daylight. In 3rd Ward, I'm Dominique Keith, Fox 26 News.
A superintendent of a small Texas school district is among 7 men arrested in an online solicitation sting of a minor. Detectives say that he was trying to meet up with the teenage girl in the Houston area. 7 men, all with one thing in common. They allegedly tried to meet up with minors for sex.
These cases should be a wake-up call for parents. You must know what your children are doing online.
Among the suspects is 47-year-old Michael Stevens, the superintendent for Itasca ISD, who was arrested outside of his school. Precinct 1 Constable Alan Rosen says Stevens reached out online to who he thought was a 15-year-old girl in Houston. Little did he know he was chatting with an undercover officer.
He sent pictures of his private parts and asked for nude videos and images in return.
What Rosen says is even more disturbing is that Stevens took some of those pictures while he was at work in his office.
Stevens has been around children his entire work life. He has been a coach, a principal, and an assistant principal in various towns across North Texas.
And a family wants justice a year after a young father was killed at a taco truck.
Family and friends now for 1 year demanding justice for 23-year-old Mark Aguilar's murder.
My tears in the dark aren't doing nothing. It's not helping us. Crying out here, it's not help. What is crying going to do? I'm done crying. It's time to do something about it.
The father of a 2-year-old girl shot and killed in North Houston, waiting for food from a taco truck.
He parked his car and he came to his car to sit down, and that's when 2 guys just pulled up, shot him, and took off.
May 29th of last year off Irvington Boulevard, Mark had just ordered food from his favorite taco truck. While waiting in his car, a man with a gun walked up and shot Mark 5 times, killing him. Why would someone do this?
Because they're just low-life people who just aren't happy with themselves. Monsters.
Criminals, hey, you're hurting people. You got family too. Criminals got family. If it was y'all'd be in the same shoes I'm in right now. But you expect everybody else to be okay while you do it.
Family members describing Mark as a loving father and husband.
He was so kind, loving. He probably thought that guy was trying to ask for help or something. He would have got out his car and helped whatever he needed it.
I'm upset. And I've been maintaining my cool for a year because I want the righteous way. My son was a good boy. I raised him right, and that's how I want things to be done, righteous for my son.
Houston police sharing these pictures of the getaway car used by the shooter.
It's not over until they're all behind bars.
A father killed waiting for food, family and friends sticking together, hoping for an arrest. If whoever did this sees this, what would you tell them?
I would say right now, man, I look at you as a roach. You feed off of others. You're not a man. You did what you did to my son because you didn't want to get off your lazy self and go do it the right way.
Decades after the brutal killings of 3 people in an auto repair shop, the verdict their families prayed for. Here's Fox 26's Dominic Keith.
We have 3 innocents killed in a place of business.
For days, jurors heard prosecutors tell them Corvette Concept co-owner Beth Wilburn, her boyfriend Tommy McGraw, and electrician James Otis were killed in the shop in 1983 by Jesse Dean Kirsch, who is decades older now. So are the articles about the triple murder, which once was not only a cold case, but seemed frozen in time until Kirsch was indicted for the killings in 2016.
The method of the murder. Brutality, 114 stab wounds with a screwdriver. And then another set of stab wounds to Thomas McGraw. And then gunshot wounds on top of that.
Wilburn was the one stabbed 114 times and shot in the head several more times. Investigators say she was the target because they say at the end of the night, a customer called, complained their Corvette was not repaired, and prosecutors say Wilburn chewed Kirsch out about it. He was the worker who supposedly fixed the car, and allegedly he responded to that reprimand by attacking Wilburn, then shooting the electrician installing light bulbs off a 20-foot ladder, and prosecuting attorneys say Kirsch shot Wilburn's boyfriend who arrived to pick her up, Tommy McGraw. McGraw was also stabbed and shot several times in the head. Defense attorneys are blaming the killings on the shop's co-owner, Bob Curry, who was Wilburn's ex-boyfriend.
Bob still had passion for Beth, and that he was jealous of Tommy. We've learned that Beth has put him in a financial position where he is up to his ears and in hot with everything that he owns.
No one has ever seen him or know him to have a .22 handgun, and that he's never had a silencer attached to a gun. There's no evidence that it's Bob.
A suspected drunk driver causes a fiery crash, sending a state trooper to the hospital.
He was talking, so he's coherent. He knows that he was in a crash. He knows he was hit.
DPS trooper Travis Rocks remains in the hospital Tuesday afternoon after he was struck by a van while trying to get out of his highway patrol unit. It happened just before 7 a.m. at I-10 eastbound near mile marker 815 in Chambers County. Authorities say the 34-year-old trooper with 6 years of service was nearly pinned under this horrific 3-car pileup.
The trooper saw that. He tried to avoid being struck, but he got struck. The vehicle was hit, and it came into contact with the county deputy's vehicle, almost kind of make like in a pyramid, and the troop was on the bottom of that, which gave him enough space to be among the living on the bottom of that. Wow. It truly is a miracle.
DPS says Trooper Rocks is married with a young child, seen in this group picture on the agency's Facebook page. Investigators say Trooper Rocks was helping another DPS trooper and a Chambers County deputy respond to a drunk driver on the road whose car needed to be moved to the highway's shoulder. That drunk driver has now been arrested and charged. But the driver in the unmarked white van was pronounced dead at the scene. Investigators have identified him as 72-year-old William Townsley from Alvin, Texas. Authorities say he showed no signs of intoxication, but DPS is now reminding drivers to slow down or move over whenever they see law enforcement on the side of the road.
The main thing to remember is when a patrol unit is behind you and the lights are on, we're asking you to yield the right of way to the emergency vehicle.
Well, that concludes this week's Fox 26 Crime Files.